tried it probably once every set. Huddersfield do it a lot because the moral vacuum's become quite good at it actually. But yeah, it's just I think because it's been like the rule like that in the NRL for a while, but it's used sparingly for a surprise element. I think it's losing its surprise element now anyway in Super League because it's just happening all the fucking time. Being attempted, I mean, not being delivered on. But yeah, Matt Parcell, sorry.
Yeah, I think he's definitely my player of the match. I think he was consistent, and he's just someone you just notice. And he's got, if Hull KR are to do well or do anything, he has to do well to enable that. And I think he's just so pivotal.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Anyone else impress you in this match?
I mean, I think while he was on the field, Crooks, he did well. I think Paula did pretty well in open play, but there's still a few question marks, and obviously Mikey Lewis picking up a ban, so it's going to be another half combination for the revolving door. And I think George King continues to impress as he has done consistently this season. I think that move upstairs in the front row has suited him.
Yeah, and he's a player that I sort of thought, yeah, he is destined for a relegation to a championship and play at that level. But I don't feel that about him at the moment. He's playing really well, form of his career.
The one other thing I did pick up on in Stuart Pike's commentary was every time he said Vete, it sounded like he was Frank Spencer. There's a few times where he got particularly excited, like, Vete! Vete! And it was just making me laugh every time he did it.
Good stuff. Right, let's move on to Saturday. Another TV game to talk about, but I don't think this one had as much interest and intrigue as the one the night before. It was Catalans versus Salford. Ben Thaler was the referee. It was 20 points to 0 at half-time to the home side Dragons. It was 42 points to 6 by the end of the game in what was largely a training session for the Dragons. Stats-wise, Catalans were better with the ball, making over 300 more metres at nearly 1 metres per carry better average gain, with 5 more breaks for 6 more tries. Individually, Fuad Yaha, 3 tries, 163 metres and 2 clean breaks. Sammy Soni Langi, 1 try assist, 156 metres. Tom Davies, 1 try, 153 metres, and Ben Garcia, 1 try, 40 tackles, none of which were missed. 5 tackle busts and 125 metres. On the other side of things, Elijah Taylor, 45 tackles, Ken Seo, 150 metres, and Harvey Levette, 1 try and 41 tackles. Andy Ackers came out of this one with a ban for a grade B intentional trip. He's got a 1-match penalty notice there. Oh, I'm so glad you get the first fan review.
Alan Walker. Buffa la Tramontia y volen els dracs. Try as we did, we couldn't make it a competitive match. A captain's run, really. Salford must have had private jet lag. Typical Manc dandies.
Private jet lag.
Did you see the plane though, with a little crest on the headrests? That was nice. An empty stadium, and there's still someone sat in my seat. See you next Tuesday. Oh, and vintage display from Tompkins, including his Hunter wellies from his Yornian days. Even the theatre yesterday was more dramatic, alas.
Carsten said Salford became shit very fast and Elijah Taylor isn't E.T. He brought the Tigers to climb with him as it looked, or was the 2-minute bus transfer. Catalans kept their discipline for 75 minutes of the game, but then they got a little bit loose. And was it Mickey Mack? Was it Mickey Mack was on the field?
Tom Andrews said, "What an intensely boring game to follow up Friday's blockbuster. Salford totally clueless in attack. Can't wait to play them when they turn into the Salford Maroons."
Yeah, it was a bit heated, wasn't it, in the last 5 minutes? Yeah. But nothing really came of that. I guess we start with the hat-trick man, Fuad Yaha. There's something about Fuad Yaha. I mean, all his tries are almost always put right on a plate for him, but he's still got to finish him off, and is doing that well. He has his own unique style of finishing that always makes me think he's going to go into touch before he puts the ball down, but he always manages to score. So you've got to credit him from that. It is going well. Mike McMeekan, a player that you're very fond of, Tim, he's looking somewhere near his best again too, isn't he? A couple of trying assists in this game. One a nice slow offload for Tom Davies, and the other one a big rollicking break down the middle.
Yeah, I mean there's been a few articles with him where he said out in France he has sort of settled quite well, and he's enjoying himself, and definitely he's looking well on the pitch. I mean, if he carries on like this, he's going to put himself potentially towards that England conversation. I think there's a lot of options in the back row, but he does potentially come out on the outside if there's some injuries, or if Wayne wants to look in a different direction.
Yeah, the way he started the season is certainly not pushed himself more out of the picture, has he? He's going well.
Yeah,
but I think the trio of Maloney, Drinkwater, and Tompkins found this game so fucking easy, just so easy. I mean, I don't know how much of it was Salford and how much of it is just they've got some metronomic going on. Their timing's impeccable. But then you watch, and watching the game, I thought maybe it's more them. But when I watched the highlights back, they weren't really squeezed for any time or space on the tries that were scored. So it wasn't the toughest challenge. So I don't know where I stand on whether any of them should have got man of the match. Or which one of them, if one of them should. They were all very good. The best try, I think, was the Sammy Soni Lange try. Another piece of simple play between those Catalan pivots, with a bit of strength, speed and class from Sam Tompkins to give the big centre a walk-in try. Tompkins didn't have to do as much in this game, I don't think, to impress everyone, but he was still pretty impressive with a couple of try assists in there, a couple of different ones as well. One a long pass, one a break, and a short pass. Catalans did look really good, but I don't know. And Garcia's going well, Busquets going well, even though they do have a opportunity to heat things up, don't they? Which they nearly did. I think Paul Seguia off the bench didn't impress me this week, so maybe there's a weakness there that they'll be looking to get Mikel Gudemond back sooner rather than later, I think, or they might want to see what Lambert Balmas can do if he can play a few more minutes. I'm not sure, because Seguia didn't convince me in his spell, but maybe it was just because the foot was off the gas by then. The game was won when they brought him on. Salford hugely disappointing, Tim. Yeah,
and I think it's too early to talk about it in some respects, but at the same time, the signs don't look proper. It doesn't look like there's a foundation there at the moment, and it's not firing. It just looks like it's all over the place with Salford. And I think they are in, I've talked about this bottom four grouping. I think they are well amongst it at the moment, and they are going to be in a fight to get out of that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they looked explosive and stuff against Widnes, but my mind goes back to just how poor Widnes' tackling was in that game, and I sort of think, it wasn't the game that got Salford into form, was it? It was almost too easy a run out for them in that cup game. So lots to work on for Richard Marshall with the Red Devils. Right, we've got another cracker to finish with, Tim.
We have. It finished Hull FC 14, Warrington 14. Having been
but surely it went to golden
time.
Point and someone kicked a drop goal, right? I mean, Mark Snyder was playing, wasn't he?
Mark Snood was playing, and he was being refereed by Robert Hicks, and nobody kicked a drop goal. A lot of people tried. They tried very hard for a very long time.
Have you got the League Express story of the game in front of you? Because it's even better than the one we did for Castleford against Hull KR, I think.
Let me just open that up into the other window. 2 seconds.
read through that period between full time and the real full time.
Hang on, where am I?
It goes 83, Blake Austin missed field goal. 84, Mark Sneyd missed field goal. 85, Blake Austin missed field goal. 85,
87.
Jake Connor missed field goal.
Oh, no, this one. 87, Mark Sneyd missed field goal. 88, Gareth Widdop missed field goal. 89, Mark Sneyd missed field goal. 90, Blake Austin missed field goal. 90, Jake Connor missed field goal.
And it's not like those names that we're reading out there aren't renowned people who've kicked important and impressive drop goals in their time.
I mean, yeah, that's the one thing. I mean, again, as I said earlier, in the England conversation, that's a little bit worrying that all these England players we've got, none of them kick a bloody drop goal.
None of them are in the squad, are they? And Sneyd even missed one in regular play as well. The stats were in late on this one, Tim, so I've got them in here. Maybe unsurprisingly, as it was low scoring and went the full 90 minutes. But this game set new season highs for tackles with 864, marker tackles with 157, carries with 407, which is a massive number of carries, meters with 3,242, and errors with 36. I think errors these days include set restarts in the Super League website stats as well. Warrington made more meters but a worse average gain. Hull made more errors but had a better team tackle success rate. Both teams made/allowed only 2 clean breaks. So it's hard to say which way round that went there. Whether it was the teams beating themselves up or whether it was the other team playing well against them. But individually, Calm lost to Mavavi, 1 try, 215 metres and 5 offloads. Andre Savelio, 1 try assist, 47 tackles, 10 of which were marker tackles, none of which were missed tackles, and 127 metres. Joe Cater, another one who went both ways, 53 tackles, 10 of which were marker tackles, and 118 metres. And Danny Mate Houghton takes back his record from all those years ago. 85 tackles, 18 of which were marker tackles, none were missed tackles.
Gosh. There we go. That's a lot of tackling.
That's nearly a tackle a minute for 90 minutes of non-stop mate action.
I suppose we need to touch on it is we keep talking about player welfare, and unless you're Sheffield, clubs aren't doing a huge amount about it. However, playing these sorts of long games is not going to be good, and I just worry from a season point of view with the World Cup at the end of it. Are we going to find a point where too many people are knackered because they've had, should they have dropped Golden Point this season because of the late thing? And frankly, it seems to be going on forever.
I mean, we are only 4 weeks into the season, and we've had our first 90-minute Super League game that's ended in a draw since we brought Golden Point in, which is this match, and we also had a 99-minute game, didn't we, in the Cup? I would probably 40 of the tackles were like third man in, just making sure an offload wasn't made, weren't they? So. But big effort from Houghton. Some big efforts from the wire players as well. Joe Philbin, 172 metres for the former Miami Dolphins coach. Ben Curry, 44 tackles and 108 metres. Jake Mamo, 1 try. Very exciting piece of play that on the hooter. 12 tackle busts and 136 metres. Darryl Clark, 1 try assist. And that was the latest offload we've seen yet this season. 55 tackles, 13 of which were marker tackles, and 121 metres for him. Jack Brown got a grade B other contrary behaviour charge in this one. 1 match penalty noticed him. From the right up, in the match review panel minutes, it was a late hit in the 89th minute.
Oh.
So if this was, I didn't watch the game, so I don't know where in the pitch this late hit happened and whether it was penalised at the time. But if it was in the attacking half of the field, you would assume it wasn't penalised at the time because they would have gone for goal, wouldn't they, with it? So I'm not sure about that. Maybe someone can clear that up for us. But interesting one there. But let's get into the